Start the recording, start again. Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the first look at 40k's, not 40k's first balance patch, but 40k's first official balance patch as part of an ongoing series of balance patches brought to you today from Games Workshop. So, there's loads to unpack here. Effectively, it's an errata. Points changes, rules changes, structural changes to how 40k lists are put together. That's pretty huge. The other key change has got to be that they've announced that they're going to do quarterly updates for this kind of for 40k. So that's quite exciting. So let's dive straight into the information. Obviously, this is live on Twitch, .tv/Wargamer, so you should join me on there with the rest of the Twitch crew. Hello, chat. What's going on? So, the balance data slate. 140,000 is galactic, blah, blah, blah. None of this. But the point that's each quarter, so every 3 months, you can look forward to a short list of rules, tweaks aimed at boosting factions that need a killer edge, and taking a bit of the sting out of those riding at the top of the competitive pile. This is huge. This is huge. This is a clear and present statement. I'm actually shocked. I wasn't expecting this from Games Workshop at all. I thought that they were just going to be like, do you know what? Let it ride. We make money. No one cares, right? Like, let's just keep making money. We don't care. This is massive. This is bigger than the changes, in my opinion. I mean, the quality of what those changes are going to be like are very important. But the very fact that they've made a statement saying, hey, every 3 months, we're going to look at results and data. It won't be their data they look at Goonhammer's data or 40kstats.com data, but because their data is a lie. What they will do is they'll look at data and then they're going to change stuff based on that data, and that is massive. They've never committed to this. They've said that they'll do FAQ stuff, like they've changed that from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Sometimes they haven't said. Sometimes they'll put points in chapter approved. Sometimes they won't. This is the biggest statement from them about competitive play. Yes, Ziggy, thanks for subscribing. Thanks everyone for subscribing. Specifically, Ziggy, what's going on? So the survey worked. Yes, the survey worked. So this is huge. This is huge. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. We did the show on this on Thursday already. Tom wasn't super happy about quarterly updates. He wanted half a year. I personally think quarterly updates is fantastic. I think that's absolutely the right way to go. Big shout out to Typhoid Tony. Thanks for subscribing, baby. This is literally dumb and dumber scene. Just when you thought you couldn't get any worse, you go and totally redeem yourself. And I'm all here for your disappointment. Okay, well, like, whether or not it's a good update, it doesn't matter because they can get better at doing that. I mean, it being a good update would be really, really important. But ultimately, the fact that they've committed to quarterly updates is massive for 40k. Massive. It takes it from, let's be super clear about this. I'll be super clear just so you guys can understand. It takes it from what is currently a joke game that isn't real, that's hilarious that people try to push it forward as an esport or anything along those lines. It's a joke game into, holy hell, is this a game? Like, is this going to be like, are they going to commit? Could this be like an esport standard, like a proper game? Thanks, Elko Reb, for donating 1,000 bits, and everyone in the chat. This is huge. Sanarus, thanks for subscribing. Like, absolutely massive for 40k, for the community, for the competitive scene, for casual players. The better the competitive game is, the better it is for casual players. Anyone who doesn't think that's right is wrong. Simple as that. So I'm elated. As a 40k fan, I'm over the moon about this. It might genuinely put we'll look at the update now, but I think that's the best thing that we could have hoped for personally. And then a commitment by them. Yes, they've committed to stuff in the past. Yes, they haven't followed through with those commitments. Yes, they've lied about a lot of those commitments. Thanks, David Smith, for resubscribing. Big love to you. Oh, I've donated 5 gift subscriptions. What the hell? And it's free. This is free. David Smith, massive love. This is free. This is a free update. Hey Topher, but honestly, as Drukhari player, this is great. Problem stuff targeted, but also interested stuff reduced. Okay. Thanks, Fisher Painting. Okay, let's get into the actual update. Number 1, presented nicely. That's huge. Not just some archaic amount of rubbish, but this is absolutely excellent. Look at this. Like, really nice start. Right. First port of call here. When mustering your army for match play, it cannot include none of this. You can only have 2 aircraft in your 2,000 point lists. It's not printer friendly though. Interesting. Good feedback from John there. Wait, aren't these just A4 pages you can print out? I know you won't like to hear this, but ties it into having the rules on their app. Every quarter, the rules points will update, and so will the army builder. So now it's all in one place doing frequent updates works. Yes, Iggy. If they do implement these into the apps so they make sense, that would be good. Obviously, no one ever is going to use the app to build lists because there's still some information in it that's wrong right now. But it's cool that they've... Listen, I'm all positive and all pro that they're doing this. So, like, it's super keen. Like, I don't mind in what format they do it. This is excellent. Okay, so only 2 flyers every 2,000 points. Seems pretty... I reckon this will be very popular. There'll be a few people who'll be upset the amount of planes that they got are invalidated into their tournament play. So you won't be able to take more than 2 planes. Me, personally, I'm a fan of it. They've caused issues time and again in competitive play. The bases, do they block movement? We had move blocking in 8th. We've had like a gross over egging of power levels on aircraft stuff early on. Like, it interacts with scenery weirdly. It interacts with the fact that it moves so far and basically can just alpha stuff is really good. 2 planes seems good. I like the limit on aircrafts, but they could have done it on units, not models. Potentially that might affect. So this is the aircraft role, right? So it doesn't change like flying units. But it is aircraft. I think this is a great change. I think this is a great change for the competitive 40 community. Of course, some people are going to be very upset that their models have been invalidated. Absolutely. But in my opinion, this is great. Onslaught is 3. Yeah, Strike Force is 2,000 points. It's 2 flyers for everyone at home. So 2 flyers. So great changes. And look at this. Adeptus Mechanicus have got points changes. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights have got some changes. Astra Militarum have got changes. Chaos Space Marines have got changes. But hilariously, still not an additional wound. Hilariously. I don't understand how that's happened. Drukhari have got points changes. Orcs have got some changes in Necrons. Should we go through? Let's do Chaos Space Marines first, because this is going to be salty. Salty. Change Death of the False Emperor ability to read each time model that's ability makes a melee attack. A hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. Fine. But let's be honest, there is not an additional wound on these guys. It's not an additional wound on the Chaos Space Marines. And why? Why is the question? Why? Does anyone know? Why? Who knows? Who knows? Astra Militarum. Lehman Russ have gone up to having a 2-up save. Excellent. At this point, it's probably because their book is in the new year. Maybe. Kodak set it soon. Maybe. But I don't know why. No one knows why. If you got any thoughts, leave them in the comments. Extra wound would mean they need to redo all their points, says Retisanti. But they've redone all the other points, as we're going to see down here. So, what, bit of extra effort? Hey, they're doing great. They're doing great, all right? Maybe it's because they're the baddies. Thanks, Chiltonic. That's it. Even if they're getting new codex soon, there's no reason they couldn't just do it for the next couple of months. I agree. Right, okay, so Astra Militarum. The change to the save characteristic, Lima Russ got a 2-up save. Great. This is good. Good change. Is it going to be good enough to help them out? I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe not. When using Tank Order's ability of Regiment Tank Commander, you can select one friendly regiment vehicle. Assume Titanic within 6 that regiment will instead of selecting Regiment Lehman Russ unit. So you could give tank orders to to other vehicles instead of just Lehman Russes, which seems like a nice change. Maybe give you some more options to bring some different vehicles in that particular setup. It's one of the following orders. The same order can be issued. By the way, I haven't read these yet, so get back fixed bayonets. Each time a regiment unit with the voice of commander issues one of the following orders, that same order can be issued to one or more other friendly infantry units, excluding officers that are within 6 inches. So what you can use? Previously, you could only give one order, but now you can give 2 orders. Bit of a buff there. That's pretty nice. Man reads PDF. Yes, Nick. Double order. Double order is great. Love that. Love a good double order. That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool. So tanks get a bit stronger. Ability to issue commands is a bit better. It's fine. Okay, that's fine. Will that bring them up? That's intending to bring them up competitively. We'll see. Drakari got points changes. We'll go through those in a minute. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. All vehicle models with Imperial Knights or Chaos Knights faction keyword gain the following ability. Towering Foe. The model counts as 5 models when determining control of an objective. If the model is Titanic model, it instead counts as 10 models when determining control of an objective marker. If every model from your army has either Chaos Knights or Imperial Knights faction keyword, all Armiger class and War Dog models from your army gain the objective secured ability. So this is huge. So Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights are going to count as 10 models on objectives, with Armiger and War Dogs counting as OBSEC. This is pretty good. This is pretty good for the Chaos Knights. They needed something like this. They were struggling to play the primary game pretty aggressively. But this is good. This is really, really positive steps for Knights. Is it going to help them tip over? I'm not sure. There's a lot of output out there that can bring down a lot of chaos, bring a lot of Knights down. But this is a good start to trying to get them on the way, and this really helps them score in the primary. This is massive for all Knights fans, so they're going to be really happy about this. So excellent change. Like, good. Like, these are core changes where they're identifying problems and then they're addressing it. This is very adult, like very, very adult from Games Workshop. And I would be the first, if you've never listened to me before, I'll be the first person to criticize something that they do if I think that they've done something bad. But I think this is a great opportunity to applaud them for doing something positive. 9 months first. Hey, Tom Dix, thanks for subscribing, baby. Definitely 40k onwards. We'll listen to your voice again. Thanks, buddy. Necrons. Add the core keyword to keyword sections of the following datasheets: Canoptic Archerites, Canoptic Reanimator, Canoptic Race, Flayed Wands, Destroyers, Heavy Destroyers. Add core keyword to all of those units. Woo, baby! Let's go, core keywords. Core change is so good, being able to put +1 blisters on destroyers, firing overlords, and my will be done while they already have reroll 1s. It's just making me giddy. Snowman Matt, that seems massive. Diagnosis in the chat, one of the best Necron players in the world. He's gorgeous, he's agile, he's hostile, and he says about this, my Wraith just got so much better. Boom. Necrons, big uptick in the power levels for them, adding the core keyword. That's excellent. And I'm really happy for him. Orcs got the nerf. Orcs got the nerf. If you got a lot of orc buggies, you're fucked, basically. Will this bring Fit Nick back to Necrons? Will it? He's in the chat. Silent King stonks as well. As an orc player, the orc nerf is fine. Buggy spam was hell. As another orc player, so I'm hit by this pretty massively. When mustering orcs army, it cannot include more than one of each of the following units: Boomdacker, Snazwagons, Custom Booster. You can only have one unit of buggies of each buggy type. So can't include more than one of each of the following units. So you can have 3 Boomdacker Snazwagons in one unit. You can have 3 Rucker Truck Squig buggies in one unit, but you can't have an additional Rucker Truck Squig Buggies unit, but you can have 3 Rucker Truck Squig Buggies in one unit and 3 Shock Dump Dragsters in another unit. You can do that, but you can't have any additional versions of those. Yeah, so they take them in units of 3 anyway. So Buggy Stonks down massively. There will be many buggies available on eBay very soon. I own 4 Rucker Truck Squig Buggies, so I've been hit to the price of 1 Rucker Truck Swig Buggy, which is pretty sad. This is a pretty stark attack against the buggies. You don't see the same for like Drukhari. We're going to see point changes, but you don't see the same for Raiders. You don't see the same. Like, you don't see the same happen actually for any other unit where you like. You know, we've seen Lehman Russ is buffed, and we haven't seen them say you could only have X number. Like, and redistribute the means of indirect fire. Yes. The amount of ball control having that many provided is pretty massive. And would I like to have seen a dataslate change, data sheet change, sorry, versus this? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. Like, this feels okay because personally I thought buggies was weird. If you're playing orcs, you want big green lads punching you in the face, in my opinion. But if you did like the speed wild bit, that was cool. The thing is, though, is this is pretty unique. Everything else is like, okay, add core keywords, Necrons, fine. Yeah, change how some of the units work for Astra Militarum, also fine. Chaos Knights, give them a special ability, that's fine. This one feels very targeted, rightly so for competitive play, but it is like you can still spam other units, right? So it reminds me of Tower Commander Nerf in 8th. Yeah, it's weird. It's specific, as you can only do X. And maybe we'll see it in ongoing codexes going forward where they do limit how many. I mean, they already have limited how many you can have, in that you can only have 3. But I suppose you could have 3 3s, which was 9. You know, why didn't they just do it so that you couldn't have the units were only max unit size of 1 or 2? Would have been another like solution, right? So you could only have, because at the minute you can have 3 rocket truck squeaky buggies in a unit. Why not have 2 rocket truck squeaky buggies in a unit, or 1? One would effectively do the same thing, I guess. Yeah, first we had rule of 3. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. First we had rule of 3, and now we're going to have rule of your faction can't do this, which is a little bit different, personally. I think you could have. I think there was a more elegant solution to this. In future editions, they'll just give us an army list we can use. But anyway, this is the Orcs one. While I agree with what it achieves, I think that there was a different way to achieve this, and they haven't done that. Right, on to points changes. They haven't actually shown us what the points changes are. Mechanicus and Drukhari. And as this has just come out this minute, I'm assuming we've generally seen we've seen the points go up specifically. So as you can see, these are all the points changes for Adeptus Mechanicus and the points changes for Drukhari. So I'm assuming we're seeing the points go off. It's going to take a couple of hours or a couple of hours to a day for people to really break this down and understand how much those points changes are. Probably the place that I will go to listen to about it will be Auspex Tactics. They probably will get a video up in the next few hours where they'll understand what's happened. Raiders not ruined, says Clippy. Okay, so yeah, some of these points changes. It'll take a while to understand exactly how much these points have changed by. Like, it'll be fun to look at some current existing 40k lists and see how much they've changed by in points. I mean, for Admech, the flyer hit is already going to have happened, which is interesting. I did see someone make a statement that if flyers get hit, it's just going to turn into a dreadnought meta, which I'm quite excited by. Pete in the chat says typical Drukhari and Admech lists are up by at least 150 points from what I'm hearing. Okay, so we're already starting to see about 10. Well, not. It would be like 7.5%, won't it? 5 to 7.5% increase across the board. Is that going to be enough? I generally tend to think that there was about 200 points spare for Drukhari. I maybe felt like it was 300 for Admech. Spare, like, as in they had that many extra points. So in my opinion, that seems to bring them about the level you'd expect to see. The real question is, what does this do? That might not be enough for Admech, says Widley Fingerbang. I feel like I agree on that. The real question is, what do we think this is going to do to the meta? Again, that's a long conversation that a lot of different people are going to be having over the next few weeks, especially the competitive gamers. Some of the questions they're going to be asking themselves are, did Drukhari and Admech actually keep things like Sisters and Orcs down? Were the Orcs just buggy spam and that's all they've got in the tank, and now that they're a fairly dead faction? I don't agree, but Is that the case? Are we going to see Grey Knights, Thousand Sons, and Sisters, who are doing really well, but were kind of kept down by the sheer power that we saw coming from Admech and Drukhari? Are we going to see them pushed down into those? Are we going to see them rise to dominance and just do better now versus some of these other armies? It's a great question. I'm not sure what the answers are, but I'm excited to see. Why did they do this now? What made them change and do this? I'm fascinated. I think it was a lot of community pressure. That has to be the kind of follow-up. And big shout out to all of you, my favorite group of people in the world, the Twitter bitches, right? Because you're legends. You're absolute legends. Yes, competitive 40k Reddit. It's full of hot takes and drama. Yes. Yes, those competitive 40k Facebook pages is full of the most terrible takes ever. But the Twitter bitches, I think, have done a really solid job. Big shout out to Inez Wilson. But I'm sure it's really been the excellent work done by people like Goonhammer and the 40k Stat Center that have really showcased just how poor the game is at the moment, how bad those results are, how much it needed to change. There's been a lot of different people pushing to try to explain to the company, hey, you need to do a better job if you want this to be a tournament game. Don't forget they're running their own tournaments, so this is money they're losing out on, ignoring miniature sales and everything else. The less people go to tournaments, the less money they're going to make at these big tours that they're going to do in America in the future. The more that people joke about the game and the more media coverage that the game gets, which it is getting a lot of media coverage at the minute, and I'm not talking about YouTubers like me, I'm talking about big gaming companies are looking at them as a company and saying, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is a mess. They need to step up and become adults when it comes to the games industry. Because yes, they are a miniatures company, and yes, well, they're mainly a book company, but they've got to step up. They've got to step up and understand that they're making a game. Because once they understand that, they'll make more money. They'll have people go into events. It's better for them as a business. Someone has shook someone like a British nanny and has said, look, you need to realize you can't keep just making community articles that are rubbish to try to pretend your game is okay, and instead you actually need to make your game okay. So, great start. Twitch chat, time to have your say. If you are watching back on YouTube, leave some comments below. I'd love to know what you got to say. Them doing their own events probably triggered this all, says Clippy. I've got to say, it's really hard to run the event and have people mug you off to your face. When it's online, you can kind of dismiss human beings. Like, it's fairly easy, right? Like, I'm not going to listen to your point. You're just some person on the internet. But when people are coming up to you at your event and saying, or more importantly, when you're at you're running a 40k event, you've got a live stream and people win on the first or second turn, it's embarrassing for you as a games company. It's embarrassing for you to be showcasing that as the state of your game. And I got to say, live coverage, let's go. Live coverage of those events has really helped, so big love. It's good that it finally happened. Hopefully they aren't just blowing smoke out the pace of these balances. I think it's a good balance change so far. Knights being more models and having access to OBSEC outside of free blades is a game changer, says Retisante. I agree with that. Reading through my Necrons Codex for some new combos. Knight size can drop any core unit that is in reserves. Time to fly and they drop Scorpex. Or Ophidians 9 inches away. Good work, Snowman Matt. Dianappa Mapper. I'm just someone on the internet, but you are doing a good job and you're a good person. Thank you for everything you do. Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that, but that's great. Next up, Age of Sigmar. Let's get those quarterly balance updates. That's going to be very exciting. Do you think we'll get something like this for AOS? Maybe, maybe not. Don't forget, they didn't even give us a winter FAQ. It depends on the community outrage. You have to understand how gigafucked 40k is. Like, up until this balance update, 40k was gigafucked. Like, every talking head was struggling so hard to not say how gigafucked it was. People weren't going to events. It was gigafucked. It's just, that's all I've got for it. It was gigafucked. So Age of Sigmar isn't gigafucked. Like, 40k was a real mess. 4 changes a year, +1. +1 to that good person. Thanks. Oh, thanks. Do we agree on quarterly updates being the right move then? In my opinion, yes. Right? In my opinion, quarterly updates are good. right? Because now some people will talk about the production meta, but if this update had come 6 months down the line or in 3 months' time, the fact that all of your orc buggies are invalidated, or some of your flyers are invalidated with the universal match play rule, either of those two being the case, your army would be, elements of your army would be invalidated anyway. I would say that this is actually better for people who like to collect armies, i.e., you like orcs. Great, yeah? If you were someone that just spammed orc buggies because you like orc buggies and you wanted to win, then, you know, whatever. Looking at the Mechanicus points changes, for example, or thinking about the Mechanicus points changes, the Scutari and the planes getting hit so aggressively is great, because maybe that opens up other options for other miniatures. Like, it means if balance patches work, if they work, then you'll get better internal balance, i.e. more of your collection will be more valid more regularly. That's huge. That's huge. If they do it. If they do it. Exactly. Sooner or later, models will be useful or at least playable. Hopefully. I want to see the impact on sales. Will people hold off on buying stuff until there's a balance update? Maybe, but actually, I think it's better on a 3-month cycle than on a 6-month cycle, because knowing it's going to change every 3 months, you kind of just have to commit to stuff that you want to do, right? You're like, cool, I'm going to run this. Cool, I'm going to run this. And it means that you'll collect a fuller army. It's better for Games Workshop that you collect a full army. It's better that you have everything of every range, like of a range. So instead of being able to buy like cookie cutter army X, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to put it on the tabletop, I'm going to play with it, and I'm done. In 6 months or a year's time, I've got to change it. Versus, I'm going to buy an army. This is better for them. Maybe it's not better for us. It's better for us as collectors. It's maybe not better for us as... if you want to win, you gotta buy it and paint it up very fucking quick, is the answer. Right, that's the answer. Can't wait for shit going to eBay cheap. Yeah, but if you're someone who likes a range, let's say you only main three armies. Maybe you main Craft World, Gene Stealer Cults, and I'm not picking on you, Tom, so I'll pick Orcs. Right? Well, we know that there's a new Craft World book coming out, so you can't really be certain about any of your army right now. Gene Stealer Cults are pretty turbo rubbish, so there's not really much you can do with that. It would have nice to have seen them get a balance update or something in here, truthfully. And then with Orcs, it just means that there's a bunch of other stuff that you can play with, and buggy spam, it was horrible thinking that you had to fit into buggy spam, right? So, literally just me. Yeah, literally just you. But it means if you only main those three, you've maybe got 2 playable armies at the moment, right? You would like 3. Of course you would like 3. But this has done nothing to help Gene Stealer Cults be good. So, yeah, anyway. If you have a say and want to have it, drop it down in the show notes below. Because that would be cool. And thanks for tuning in to this. This has been live on Twitch. I'm live most days talking about Age of Sigmar 40k. Every Thursday night I do a 40k show with my co-host called the 40k Spy Center, which will be really good this week because we can deep dive some of this information even more. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments, is what I'd like to do. If you're listening to the this is a podcast or anything else, Honest Wargamer is completely free. Everything we do is free, and it's all brought up to you, everyone, on Patreon. So thanks to you guys. See you soon, thugs.